Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Live with Brinkofspeed and Octane Hour. Look who we have on the show tonight.
Hey,
welcome, Rick.
Dude, this is great.
He's here live in person. It's
I got to tell you guys,
it's like the Brady Bunch box. It's you're actually here.
This really means a lot to me that you invited me down. We talked about this last year, in fact, and now I'm here, and it's great. It's just been a fun time. Tough getting here. Travel stories we don't need to waste time with, but we're here, and we're going to have a great time tonight. I think it is. Yeah. Next time I'm coming down here, I'm driving, though. I've already learned my lesson. No more flying.
Two of the four of us are lucky to be here. We both got into the airport within the last,
couple hours. Right, exactly.
And we're both stuck in traffic, cursing traffic out, and
can I say hi to the guys at the restaurant real fast?
You do it.
I just hi to Sean Jones from Corvette Invasion. Nice to come over to see us. One of my customers, Eli, made a special trip to come and see me, and I think he drove almost 2 hours to get here, and I saw him for a whole 5 minutes. So that's how tight it's been before we went out tonight. So, guys, it was really nice to see you. Thanks for coming over. I appreciate that.
Yeah, Sean Jones, thanks again. He showed up, and he drove about 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
And brought us some gifts.
All mine's in the car.
He's Corvette Invasion guy, and brought us some really cool tumblers with our names on it, with Corvette Invasion on it. So
sweet.
And then bought us dinner.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Awesome. As a reminder, Rick's going to be at Corvette
That's
Invasion,
right.
which we'll be talking a lot more about that as we get closer to the date. That's, I think, mid-July.
July, yeah.
So once those details are tightened up, we'll all
seriously, everybody in the DFW area should join us, drive down with us, and then everybody in Texas that watches this channel should definitely come to that event. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, man. All Corvette show? Heck yeah.
And Corvette Blogger's on here. He's going to be there.
Good.
Hey, Keith, what's going on? How are you? Good to see you.
Welcome, everybody. We've already got an awesome crowd going. Thank you so much for showing up. Tonight, we're going to talk about whether GM will extend the 2025 C8 production. Mm-hmm. I think we have some good stuff to talk about there. And then also, will the ZR1 become a 2026?
Yeah.
So who knows? We'll see.
Who knows?
Yep.
That's right.
But yeah, welcome to Rick. He flew out here from Ohio. We've been trying to do this since Corvettes of Carlisle.
Yeah.
We talked about it then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great.
It finally happened.
Yeah.
So we're very happy to have him on the show.
We might not let him go back. We're gonna.
Yeah, I think we might steal him.
We're gonna lock
for
him up
every
in this
show.
room, and we'll let him out every Wednesday.
Well, for me, for doing
Hour.
YouTube, I get to interact. What I do for a living, and then tie it into YouTube, and then you guys are doing YouTube as Corvette owners. So I think that we can complement our conversations with some business stuff, enthusiast stuff. So I am excited to be here and have conversation with you guys tonight and the audience as well. So get those questions, get them in. Mark is watching, Darren is watching.
That's right.
Get them ready
watch for the questions. Yes.
Yeah.
I just wish the studio was big enough for you to see his pants.
Oh, I did. Thank you. I forgot.
Can you
They're
guys
like, yeah,
stand up
show a
both legs?
leg.
Show
Yeah,
them
I got to
your
show you the pants.
Go up
Let's see if this.
Let's see if the other camera angle again.
Mike said, Rick, don't fall.
Yeah, be careful on the. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, Rick! Oh my God!
No, Rick, go down. Watch, Rick. That's the last time he'll be here. He breaks.
Mike's thinking, he goes, I forgot they haven't signed the liability.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if my
I
homeowner's
found
insurance
rapid
covers
blue
that.
pants that match my car. Oh, my gosh.
goodness, yes.
Some wacky ad on Instagram,
That
and
was
I got
awesome,
them,
man.
and they fit. Yeah,
That was awesome. I love it.
Well, okay, so where do you get pants like that, Rick? If I want to,
I just found some. I don't even know the company that they are. I just found it, and I'm like, okay, it's $65, and hey, they actually fit and they look good too. So, you just never know what you're going to get.
That's great.
That's right.
Rapid blue sweatpants.
All right, so you guys know we are brought to you by the NCM Insurance Company. I'm sure Rick has a lot to say about them as well.
Oh yes, good people.
But they are
really
awesome people. Adam is phenomenal. Their customer service is phenomenal, and then their coverage is phenomenal. Probably 99% of the population out there that has collectible cars is going to want to check this coverage out. I mean, 100% should, but 99% is going to really, benefit from savings on it. You don't have to have a Corvette. It can be any collectible car.
Right, good point.
So the way that you qualify for it is you got to have that collectible car. You got to be willing to drive it 6,000 miles or less a year.
I'm out. Oh, I'm in.
Yeah, you're in on that.
He's out.
I'm way out.
Yeah. You also need a garage to put that in, and then you need a second car that is your main daily driver. Go to the area here that says get a free quote or get a quote. Fill out the information. Make sure you put in there BOS 2025. That way they know you came from the Brinkofspeed channel. And they will send you an email with some information that they need, further information from you. fill that out, send it back, and then they'll give you a phone call and get you all set up with coverage. So it's excellent stuff. My two favorite things about the insurance company is the rollover miles. So if you don't use them all, like this guy right here, I think he has a 3,000 mile policy. And
I think I got like 100,000 rollover miles by now. So,
and then the second thing that I love is the agreed value, and he really loves that as well because he does a lot of mods to his cars, and so they agree on that value with all the mods on it. And then if it gets totaled, he gets a check for that amount. So I know there's a lot of you out there that are the same way. So it's great stuff. Check them out. I think you'll be happy. So
we had our first super chat just now. Steve Robertson chatted.
Oh, hey,
so Steve, what we're going to do, he did ask a question. We're going to save your question for a little bit later because we're going to let the questions kind of stack up. We're going to kind of keep to the main subjects that we had for a little bit. Yeah. So we're going to come back to your question, and we might as well talk about it now since we got a lot of people in here. For everyone that super chats or sends Mike a Venmo for $25, every $25 super chat or Venmo. So Steve, if you round up and do another $15 one, that'll get you in. Rick was able to smuggle on Southwest.
I don't know.
Carefully
how
brought this.
Look at this.
This is, and I'll let Rick tell the story.
Here,
but
we'll
but what we're gonna do is,
sorry about that. Hang on.
for everyone that super chats $25, so you can do $25, $50, $7,500, whatever you want to do. You're gonna get one guess, and we'll explain that here in a second how it's gonna work. But before we get to that, I want Rick to talk about it. It's pretty cool, pretty special what he did with these.
Well, for the folks that do know me, I am a big Corvette kid, and Corvette Diecast is one of my passions. And back, this model is 7 years old. I was going to wrap a real car and then drive around at shows and then had these mini cars to give away at those particular events. So it was kind of neat that you could tie that in. And I was about to do that, and then all of a sudden, I found out another YouTuber actually had, not like this car, but similar camo-wrapped Corvette. And I'm like, never mind, I'm not going to do it. But I still made only 23 of these, and I called the guy that actually wraps my cars, and I said, I need you to wrap a Diecast, and he didn't even know what it was. He goes, can you send me a picture? And I said, he goes, you want me to wrap that? And I said, yes. And he did a great job. I was so excited. So we made 23, real special. I've got a real special place for our military men and women, and that was really the whole basis of that. So this is the very last one. Of course, there's one left for me, but this is the last one that I'm giving away, and it has an opportunity to be something proud that you can display in your home and your collection, and it's something that you won't find anywhere. So it's a 2017 C7. But having the military camo wrap, it's got the American flag on the roof, it's got the Corvette emblem on the hood, and it's got my name down there and the title of it. And Darren just explained how you guys have an opportunity to get that. We're going to do, Darren, are we doing the guess, the number guess from the people that participate?
So what we did to make it fair, before we sat down, and none of us even know the number, Rick wrote down the number and put it in his pocket, and it's the number between 1 and 2025.
Yes.
So, for example, Stephen R. that just super chatted $50, give us any two numbers, can be your favorite numbers, doesn't matter, between 1
so
and
if they donate, they get two guesses. Is that what it is? Okay, cool.
And I'm going to write those down. At the end, it'll basically be the Price is Right model. We won't do over and over, but whoever's the closest to that number is going to win this. So
cool.
We're trying to make it fair for everyone. Again, $25 super chat Venmo. We'll give everyone an opportunity. So
two number choices.
Two numbers. So Stephen R., just put in the comment, just tell me what two random numbers you want, and I'm going to write it down with your name.
Yep.
Sounds good. All right.
I really like all the show prep we did, too. This is our show prep.
It wasn't supposed to be that
way. Literally, that's the show prep.
That's right.
Hey, come on and sit here. We're on. Great.
We're on right now.
And also, when we get to the questions, I wanted to mention that you can probably, if you want your question to rise to the top, you can do the super chat as well. Because that's what we were doing in previous shows. If you wanted, when we had too many questions to answer, you could super chat, and we'll try to rise that question to the top. Because we got like 1,000 people on here now, so you never know what's going to happen and how many questions we'll be able to get to. So if you really want your question answered, super chat it so that it's flagged, we see it. and it goes to.
Well, Mark, you got to remember, he asked me before, and hey, it's your show, Mike. But he said, what if we run over an hour? And if you guys are good and I'm good, I'd like to see us answer as many of these questions as we possibly can. So let's go for it, man. We got some stuff to talk about too, and some stories to tell. But
and I've got questions to ask you. And I don't know if you have any to ask us, but feel free.
No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, let's keep rolling.
So the other thing that I wanted to go over real quick is my last 2 videos. If you check them out, they're in the description below. But number 1 is the 3,000 miles that I've put on my E-Ray. Plus, I've owned it for a little over 6 months. It's been I think actually 8 months now. Check that out if you're interested in E-Rays. It will help you. I love all the comments. There's a lot of people that are like, thanks so much for this information. If you're on the fence about an E-Ray, it's going to be good information for you as well. Number 2 was actually something that I'm starting to do now. I got the idea from another YouTube channel. If you guys ever watch Dale Earnhardt Jr., he has a YouTube channel and he does a lot of lives. And he actually does segments of 10-minute segments of favorite things or parts during that live.
It's like a summary.
And so I'm going to start doing that with my lives. And that way you guys can look at my channel and see that there's a live that's an hour long to watch, or you can look at the segments that I'm going to place out there that are 10 minutes.
Okay.
So
I like that.
That second thing is, should Corvette owners freak out over this? And it's something funny that Darren brought up during our last live. And it worked real well for a 10-minute segment. So check that out as well. All right, last but not least, before we just jump into all things Rick, is the Amyloidosis Chip Miller giveaway. So they are giving away a 2025 ZR1 with the ZTK package. Yes, by the time they give this car away, you will be able to get a ZTK package on the car. And then the grand prize is $125,000. If you don't want the car, I don't know why you wouldn't want the car, because car right there is going to be $200,000. So you're losing $75,000 if you take the 125.
Right. Anyway,
it's a 3LZ. It's got everything. It's a Sebring orange. Absolutely beautiful. The way you get entered is drop down into the description. You'll see my little link. Click on that. You get 50% bonus tickets because you're a Brinkofspeed watcher. Click on one of these entry tabs. Fill out the information. It shows the Brink 50 already in there. And then put your credit card information in. You're all set and ready to win. So it's a very good cause. Amyloidosis is what Chip Miller passed away with.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Chip Miller is, it's actually the founder of Corvettes at Carlisle. And his son now runs it, Lance Miller. But Chip got diagnosed with this, and 3 months later, I think it was, he passed away.
Yeah.
So they just go and try and find cures for this, and it's a good charity to give to.
No, for sure.
So there you go, another ZR1 giveaway.
We have it. We have somebody writing in that GM just in. They're going to change the name of Rapid Blue to Conti Blue for next year.
Yes.
There you go. It's right here. It's from a source. It says it right here.
That would be so
Every
awesome.
purchase of a Rapid Blue, you get matching pants.
Rick Conti Blue.
So just so you guys know, we've had 4 $50 super chats now.
So we got
coming
Texas
in.
Clay.
Thanks, guys.
So Chad, please put in the 2 numbers that you want between
2 guesses, guys. 2 guesses.
Two numbers between 1 and 2025.
Yes.
And same for you, Clay. We need to, and I'll make note of those. So we've got
Steve Robertson.
I've got them. So we've got 4.
Sweet.
Okay, I've got Clay now. So we've got 4 participants in there.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to ask Rick some questions now. And by the way, I've got my questions, and then Joe from Super 8 Creations YouTube channel. Is it not Super 8?
Super 8 Creations.
Yeah,
Yep, that's right.
I had that right.
Yeah, that's right.
He wanted me to ask Rick some questions. Him and Rick are like best friends now.
I can only imagine what Joe's going to ask.
But also, if you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, you need to check it out. Yeah. Same with Rick. If you're on here and you don't subscribe to Rick, which I think would be crazy that somebody would be on there
right now.
Yeah, let's just put you up. No, seriously, go to his channel, subscribe to him, give him a follow. But do the same for Joe. He's creating amazing merch for me. He's doing it for Rick. I know he's doing it for Clarence of Sea Garner Speed 252 as well. I don't know if he's doing it for anybody else, but anyway, he's creating amazing merch.
And he's passionate about it. He loves it. And I think that's what makes it more fun for us. And we share and collaborate ideas. And then he takes the ball and runs with it. And I love it. Yeah. Does a good job.
We ate dinner with him at Carlisle, right? And Rick
Bowling Green.
That night.
I think we closed down every restaurant we ate at Bowling Green at the Bash.
I've seen some people ask, why don't you show your Venmo real quick? We just want to make sure everyone gets a fair chance at this. It's really cool.
Okay.
No problem. There's my Venmo.
This is the last one of how many you made, Rick?
23.
And that's the last one. And if I'm not mistaken, is Maisto still in business?
Yeah. Oh, heck yeah.
I think
because there's a company that were making my 78 Pace car.
Yeah.
They stopped making. They're out of business, and you go to Carlisle.
There's just a handful of Diecast guys left right now. Yeah. There's just a handful.
Yeah. So.
All right. So how long have you sold Chevys, and when did you exclusively go to Corvette?
Good question. For those that follow, know I've been doing Corvettes exclusively for 30 years.
Holy.
I had a small stint with Pontiac that I actually, and this will be in my book. I'm going to write a book too.
Nice.
But I might as well tell you guys. So for those that care, I was a weird time in my life that put me into the car business because I was in radio, and I did this car business thing. I just did not like it. Fought with the bosses all the time. They said, go say this or go say this. And I go, what? I go, that's stupid. I said, you do what I say. I'm like, okay, whatever. So finally, at the end of the year, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm selling for 9 months. I knock out their number one guy of 16 years, and they give me this little plaque. And we're upstairs in this beautiful office, just similar to what we have here in the studio. And we're getting yelled at how bad we suck, and you're not a salesperson, and you're snowing yourself, and you're snowing. And never forget, he said, snowing your families, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And this
real motivating guy.
This
right?
went on for a long time, and I said, you know what, I'm done with it. I threw my plaque down. He says, Rick Conte, you sit down. Where are you going? I said, I'm going downstairs to get a gun and blow my brains out. And I said, and you, sir, need to be medicated. I said, I had enough. And I just quit. I guess it was nuts, but my direct sales manager knew of my background and says, hey, you got to be into a specialty. And I said, this car business thing. I said, I'm just not into it. He goes, no, but he goes, you get along with people really well. He goes, I think you would be good in a specialty. I said, dude, the only car I really like is Corvette. He goes, I got a buddy at a Chevy store. Go meet with him. So I've got an interview that I haven't aired on my channel yet, but I actually briefly met with this guy, and I saw, finally I put my arms around it, and I'm gonna be the Corvette guy over there. I was going to take it real serious. Went in with a presentation, and they took my presentation and he threw it off to the side. I actually got in an argument with Mike in my initial interview. It's like, I go, well, what about that Corvette stuff? Yeah. And he goes, I don't care about that. And they were the biggest Corvette dealer at the time up in Amherst, Ohio. And then he goes, well, you can have that desk over there. And I went, there's no phone over there. He goes, I'll get you a phone. Do you want the job? Yeah, I want the job. This is pretty much how it went. And then all of a sudden I go, oh, I need a demo. And see, the rule was you couldn't get a demo unless you've been there for 6 months. And I said, well, I was the number one salesman at Jackson Pontiac. So he gave me a car and everybody hated me. So it was great, but I took it serious and I really, really put my arms around Corvette.
Up in Amherst, that's Cleveland, where my kids grew up.
west of Cleveland.
What was the name of the dealer? It was Amherst Chevy?
No, I don't want to name the dealer. That's another story for another time. Shut up, Mark.
Sorry. It was.
I won't be bashful. Dealer. We don't want to talk about it. I'll just let you know we're not going to talk about it. But
Ford dealership.
That's kind of where it started. But I mean, and in that store, there's a guy that told me, he goes, you're going to be in the car, because I didn't want to go sell all the Chevys. I had to take all the training to be qualified, but I didn't want to do the Impalas and the Malibus and the conversion vans and all this stuff. In fact, I had to sell, speaking of conversion vans, to get the right to go to the C5 training. It was to the top 2 salespeople. So it's like they knew I was going to be the Corvette guy, but I just didn't get the ticket. So I'm selling my butt off. And I think I sold some used car that day, and I needed one more deal so I would win the contest. And I sold me an Astro conversion van.
Nice.
I'll never forget it. It's the only one I ever sold. And I was able to go to Miami for the 1997 reveal. Sweet. It was crazy. But one guy that didn't go, who was the Corvette guy before I got there, was upset. And he didn't take it too serious. He says, you can't be in the car business selling only one car. I said, oh, yeah? Watch me. I said, and I took it real serious. And in fact, I don't know if the internet was a thing back then, but we were in the Corvette and Chevy Trader magazine. And it was like, call one of these 3 guys. And that's how we got our leads to sell cars. And still back then, as I do now, 3 out of 4 cars I sell go out of state. And I remember it was like the middle of the launch of C5, and one of the sales managers brought us in. And they said, okay, you three guys have been to the magazine. You're getting all the Corvette leads and calls. Rick, you have no customer base. We'll talk to you in a second. You've been selling here for 10 years, and you have 6 of the hottest Corvette out ever. Okay, next guy, you have 10. Rick, you have 125 out. He says, clearly you're taking this more serious than the other guys. He goes, you 2 out of the magazine, Rick, you get all the calls. And then I started really working on my marketing. And then one of my customers said, you guys would think this is cute because now I edit my own videos and still learning. But my customer, I remember Mark from Canton, Ohio, he comes up and he goes, man, you're doing all this work and sending out all these newsletters. He goes, you need a website. And I said, what's that?
What's a website?
What is that? But you know what, though? The way he described it was awesome because he goes, it's just like a book and your information's on a different page, And I go, oh, okay, that's great. So I designed all this stuff. It took him 6 months, and then we were learning as the site went up. And the original site looked like you were looking over the windshield of a head-up display on a C5.
Oh, cool.
And all the buttons were functional. You know, the information button, the mileage button, it would go into like a news tab, inventory tab, and then the turn signals actually, when you hit it, would accelerate and make a big, loud acceleration, and the RPMs would kick up.
Back then, that's pretty interesting.
Well, then a guy calls me and he goes, hey, man, love your website. He goes, but dude, he goes, I got my computer in my bedroom. He goes, and I went on your website. And as soon as you go on the website, 2 in the morning, his wife wakes up, starts screaming at him. So I called, hey, Doug, can we get an on-off switch for this acceleration
Are you
thing?
ordering that
So we
Corvette again,
were
Rick?
constantly learning, It was pretty neat. So that was way back then, but now I'm still learning and I'm still having a blast. And, 30 years in, people ask me, and I'm sure you're probably going to say the same thing, how much longer are you going to do this? And I really just don't want to stop. I really don't want to put a timeline on it. I mean,
You're having too much fun.
I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I really do. And if you guys ever met me in person, you guys know off camera, on camera, I'm the same dude. I really, truly enjoy this car immensely. I'm immersed in this marketplace. I've predicted stuff from a passion standpoint, not from a intel standpoint. And when they come true, it's just like, yeah, I feel really connected. I feel like I know exactly what we need, what we want, and here I was right again, So I get excited. It's like little wins for me behind the scenes. But, yeah, I'm having a good time, man.
Awesome. All right. Well, question number 2. What made you decide to start your YouTube channel? That's part 1.
Do I have to give a real answer to that?
What or who was your
Save
inspiration?
space. Come on now, save
We
space.
know.
I'm sorry, what's
Hang
this?
on. What or who was your inspiration, and what year did you start it?
Didn't Chuck get you going on?
No, he did not. And actually, I do have an answer. That's a good question. I'd forgotten about that, but you just made me realize it.
Love Chuck Billy.
17 was a year that things were changing in the business, within the dealership, within the marketplace, the anticipation of the mid-engine car. It was funny that somebody, and we'll talk about this later too, so many people said, oh no, I don't want a mid-engine Corvette. And now look at us, we all freaking love it. But I was trying to find another way to market myself and reach people. And Roman Atwood was a local guy in Columbus. Now, he's a big YouTuber, 10, 12 million followers.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like a daily vlog thing that he did, but he had a much lower demographic than I. And I would watch him when I sold him a car. He did a car for his dad, like a surprise type of thing. And when he was there filming, and I'm like, you know what? I can do that. I think I want to do that. And I started doing it. I didn't know what I was doing. I was all over the place. The editing process was, it's still stressful, but now I know what I'm getting into. But immediately when we had videos with customers or information on the car, you folks replied instantly. I just watched that engagement and I'm like, wait a minute, I think there's something to this YouTube thing. So I can't see myself not doing it. It is another full-time job. I work 80 to 90 hours a week from sales and from YouTube. But you know what, dude? I'm having a blast, and it's truly worth it. It really is.
Wow.
All right.
Can I ask a question out of order or not?
He gets to. He's on the show. He's allowed
Go for it.
So I get kind of why you started your channel, because you're trying to get some marketing synergy and some sales. What, in your entire career, what year stands out as like a two-part question? The best year where things were just so easy, and then the worst year. Like, what was the year you're like, damn, this year is just a grinder?
Oh, I don't even have to think about that. 2014, best year. Huge stress the anticipation, because you're coming off C6, you know, when's this car coming? We went through a lot of what we went through in C8 through the summertime. What's the status of my car? What's the status of my car? To the point where I had customers fighting with me that, you know, my allocation was released first, but it wasn't built first. Even if it was built first, it didn't ship first. You know, why did VIN number such and such get this? Because I used to keep my website up to date, and I would put the VIN numbers and I put the statuses up there. I was the first guy for these other dealerships that did status updates. I started that before anybody, and now I just don't have the site running. I really want to get it back up again. But people would follow that, and they would say, well, so-and-so's VIN is this, and his car's at 4,200 and it's shipped, but my car was built. And it was like, really? I mean, but that's how it was really, really
Rick,
bad.
You need to drop that from your website.
So just a lot of enthusiasm for the C7.
Yeah, but you know what? It was a rush to the gate, and then it was over by the end of the year. At the time, I don't think the record stands anymore, but in October of 2013, the launch of C7, I had the record for the most new Corvettes delivered by a salesman. I had 60 cars delivered that month.
Wow, a month.
And I couldn't get them all done. There were still more sitting against the wall. Chuck was trying to take the covers off, and if I may, just real quick, a story. We were all learning at that time because we never had Corvette shipped with in transit covers, so it was another element to, you know, get the car ready and that. And I was doing all I could, my diligence. Hey, Mr. So and So, your car's here. Sorry, it's going to be about 4 or 5 days before we get to it, and just wanted you to know it's here. And I'm in the middle of a delivery, and they pulled up. They drove out of state like 6 hours. Okay, and I'm in the car showing the features, which I love the Dog and Pony Show because it's fun to see the customer get excited. And I want you to know how to use your car. It's not see your keys, see your car, see you later. I actually do the job and I finish it, okay? So I'm sitting there with this lady, incidentally, and then the wife pulls up and taps on the window. Excuse me. As I'm thinking, gosh, I just freaking called you yesterday. And I told you 5 days, but okay. I said, yeah, I'm with this lady right now. She goes, that's my car over there, and I'm not leaving until I get my car. I said, well, it's a Saturday. I apologize. Our technician is not here today. And she starts barking. All of a sudden, this lady leans over, and I won't say what she said. There were some colorful words when she got done, and I said, I love you. Said exactly what I wanted to say, but I couldn't say it.
Oh, that's funny.
That's awesome.
It's like, wow. But yeah, people were crazy. But by the end of 14, it was pretty much over because there was inventory. And then the most stressful would be 2020. Would be the launch of C8, where we got letters from Chevy. You're getting this many cars, plus or minus whatever, you know, percentage. I was like, okay. So we took pre-orders predicated on that, and then we had the strike, and then we had COVID, and you name it, it happened. And we got a fraction. I think we got 25% of that letter. So that's where the snowball started, and we were just never able to catch up. The night of the launch, July 19th, I was at the office, and we were able to see our allocation that night. The next morning, we had 770 emails.
Holy.
My boss goes, did you see all those emails? I said, dude, I got news for you. There ain't no way. The next day, another 600 come in. Ooh. And we appreciated it, but it's just like,
you don't have the cars to sell.
I can't tell you what I don't have. And there was such a information communication breakdown with the launch of C8, unlike we had in the past. And I've been sales manager for Corvette at all the other stores I worked at, so I order the cars, and I'm very familiar with all that.
We just had a problem with the internet. I don't know what's going on.
No, we're good.
Are we off? Are we on?
Good.
Are we still on? I apologize.
Okay. Hopefully
we're still on.
Okay, we're still.
So we had to, yeah. So
I mean, that's about in 2020. I mean, just your opportunity to sell cars, you were taking a 75% hit just because you didn't have the inventory.
It was tough, and the anticipation for that car was similar to what it was in 2014. However, that lasted for 4.5 years, not 7 months. So yeah,
so that 1 year stretch of stress was really like 3.5 years of stress.
Yeah. What do you mean 1 year stress?
Well, you said 2020 was all right, okay. Well,
I'm 5 years in, man. I think I've aged 20 years in the last 5. I'm not kidding you. And I get it, you know, and people were seeking information and frustrated, but you know, I would tease sometimes on my channel, and I'd hold up the I don't know sign because it wasn't what you wanted to hear that I was going to tell you. It was, I really didn't know. As you needed to know, we didn't know. We weren't trying to be difficult. We just didn't know. And it was frustrating for us because, you know, I teased and said, I don't like the hide the weenie program from General Motors. And it's just like, you know, give us the information we need so we can at least tell them something. And we just never got it. Kind of what's going on right now with ZR1.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rick, just to follow up to that question, now that it was so hard to get cars for the to match up to the emails. Now you have more cars now.
Right.
So talk about the challenge there of becoming more of a salesperson, or what you have to do to, because you've got cars on the lot that you could sell now that before you had a line of people and you'd call them when you were ready.
And it doesn't bother me. And I know right now people are looking for price, and price, in my opinion, doesn't sell cars. You can get a great price, but if you don't know what you're buying, if you don't have a good experience, if you don't feel comfortable with the people or the company that you're dealing with, then what's the point of spending $75,000 with that guy? You could spend 78 with somebody else, and the best deal is really a perception. It's not right. Dollars and cents. Yeah. And I think the relationships I try to build, and I'm competitive. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to be competitive, but sometimes people, if they're basing their buying decision solely on price, I think that's the wrong thing to do. And right now, I'm not too scared about that, because this goes back to where we actually did our jobs, knew the car, how are you going to use the car, overcome objections, talk about the features. What's the difference in 1LT, 2LT, 3LT? Constantly, do I need front lift? I don't know where you live. We go through all that stuff. Tell me about mag ride for the non-Z51 versus Z51. They're long conversations. Sure. And when I have those conversations right now, what's been happening, Mark, and it's frustrating for me. It is what it is. You spend all that time really trying to earn that business, whether the guy's 2 feet in front of you or 2,000 miles away. Then they'll take that data after they've complained about the dealership that won't give them any time of day. Well, hey, now I know exactly what I'm getting. I got it all specced out. I'm going to go down there and I'm going to buy from them. And sometimes they even spend more money because they're afraid, well, I got to ship the car. This is one of the things that I do the YouTube channel for. Now it actually gives me a chance to showcase what I do and really, truly how easy it is. And I talked about that about a week and a half ago. I did a deal with a gentleman in California who was so nice and waited forever because he got a high wing. That's another story within itself. But he did wait, and he was understanding. And so now we're doing the logistics and the paperwork, and we do everything electronic signing now. And it was done in 15 minutes. And he goes, that's it? And I go, yeah, dude, that's it. He goes, man, I'd be down at my dealership for 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so ease of doing business, there's a great value in that. There really is. Yeah.
So a follow-up sales question. Sorry, we've hijacked this from Mike, but we're going to get back to Mike. We got plenty of time.
We're not going to let anyone...
Is this your show anymore? It's your guys' show.
Nobody's going to get to ask any questions.
I am so honored to be here. Seriously, though. Thanks for taking the interest.
2 sales types of questions. Mm-hmm. What percentage, and obviously you don't know the exact number, but roughly first-time Corvette buyer? Mm-hmm. What do you think that is of your customer base?
In my customer base, I'm going to use this as a 4-year-old statistic, and I was in that statistic when I bought my first car ever in 2021, which I'll talk about that in a little bit if I may. I'm running right around 70 to 75%.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that's what it was for Chevy at the beginning, and that's part of the problem for a while there. Chevy designed this car not necessarily to kind of snub their existing Corvette base, but they really were focusing on a new client, to broaden the base with more production, what have you. So they accomplished that. What they didn't anticipate is the existing Corvette base loved the car too.
Yeah.
Yes. Even the naysayers that said, I don't like mid-engine, guess what? They freaking love it. And if you've never driven one, drive it. End of conversation. It's an amazing value. Yeah.
So follow this real quick.
Sure.
Say that other 25%. What percentage are people that are transitioning over from another sports car like a Porsche or
a lot of those people? I would have to say a lot of my buyers are Porsche crossovers, a few McLaren. I've had a couple Ferrari guys. ZR1's kind of brought those guys out, but I had them before in Z06 and what have you. Oh, most certainly. I had one guy, in fact, I won't say where, he's from Texas, and he's the president of a Ferrari club, and he bought a Corvette.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Loved it. Yes, absolutely. I hope he's not watching. He's like, Rick, you're not supposed to tell that.
That's right. That's funny. Well, I would offer that the service that you provide and the experience that you provide, because I know when I bought mine, that was as important, because MSRP price, to me, it was the experience of going there. and it wasn't as good as I would want to have had it done at your place if I had the chance to do it back in 2023.
So buy another one, just so you
I should buy another one. But it's just that the experience you watch and see these guys, and he talks to them, and he does the send off pat.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
and
just
rubbing
so
the spoiler.
Cool. Yeah, or even going to the NCM, the museum for delivery.
I love doing that.
The experience of that is just as special because you remember that for a long time.
Well, I'd have to say now in this matrix, if I had the opportunities, could I duplicate the 60 plus sales? I don't know if there's enough hours in the day. This car is so much more complex. You guys know, you all have them. It takes longer for me to deliver the car.
Sure.
And I'm finding that people have more questions at delivery. Sometimes they're really, truly overwhelmed, especially the first-time buyers.
Right.
It's like a spaceship sitting in there. So I try to focus on the stuff that they're going to use and not lose them in everything, but really touch on the hot buttons so they understand how to use, so they don't feel foreign in their own car. And by knowing how to use some of that stuff, that makes it more fun to enjoy and
Do you get a lot of
drive.
emails post the sale like, hey, I forgot how to do this, I forgot how to do that? So
all the time.
Not only are you selling cars, you're trying to do the back end, finishing up almost with questions.
Yeah, hey, remember that screen? How do you change that screen? I want to change that information. I don't want the tire pressure down there. How do I change that over?
Yeah.
Constantly. Sometimes I'll just grab my phone, I'll do a quick 30-second to 60-second video, and I'll text it over to them, and it's, it's handled.
Okay,
but I
cool.
want them to know how to do that, and I tell them, once we do the send-off pad, it's not over. If you need something, that's what I'm here for. I want you to enjoy your car. I want you to use these features on the car, and I want you to drive the car. Really, truly drive the car.
Yeah.
All right, so a couple of things real quick. Thank you so much to Mark T for the $50 chat and the Joey B $50 chat. Thank you guys so much. You're both entered. You got those.
Everyone's numbers.
Should we remind them again for the folks that are here late?
Reminder, this is a kind of a one of one, or what's left of one of one.
Yeah,
These
1
are
of 23.
specially wrapped. So a local wrap shop did these, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
C7 wrap. It's got camel wrap, American flag on it. The opportunity to win it tonight is for every $25 you super chat or Venmo, you will get a guess at a number between 1 and 2025.
So you said they get 2 guesses, Darren. Is that correct?
2 guesses for $50.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So each $25 gets you 1 guess. So most people have been doing $50 each. 2 guesses.
Cool. All right, good. Thanks.
Rick's already put the number in his pocket. He's written it down. So at the end of the show tonight, we will see what number it is and who's closest, and that's who's going to take it home. And then Rick will sign it. Mike can sign it. Mark won't sign it.
Nah,
We don't want to devalue it.
It would go down in value if I signed it.
Man, you really get beat up on this show, don't you?
It's like I'm the Ed
I'm here
McMahon.
witnessing it firsthand.
I'm Ed McMahon for Johnny Carson.
Absolutely.
We were
you
nice to him at dinner. There was no arguments at dinner. Usually it seems like we're getting in an argument and people are looking at us like at our table like...
Yeah.
I love it.
Also, guys, please give this video a big thumbs up. I think we got like 500 people in here, and we've got like 172 thumbs up. It really helps YouTube know that you're enjoying the content, and it really supports the channel. So please
do a thumbs up.
Just do a thumbs up.
Like I said,
It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah,
No.
you could have
It's
1,000
easy
thumbs
peasy.
up by now.
All right, let's
Thanks,
get to
folks,
some
for being
more-
here. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, let's get to some more questions. You answered my third question. You juggle the full-time job and the YouTube. You
Yes,
told
sir.
us how you do that.
Okay.
So we understand that. So Joe had some questions. They're all good questions. He wants to know if you recommend to take the factory alignment off the C8 Stingray with the Z51 package to extend the life of. Does it mess up with the life of the tires?
You can extend the life of the tires if you're not doing a track alignment and he's trying to get rid of some of what comes from the factory. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
So you can extend the life by taking the
Yeah, and keep
factory
these
alignment.
tires from going like this and actually
Right.
get them a little more flat. Sure.
Okay.
You got to get a few miles on the car, preferably 500, before you start messing around with that. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. How much more are you going to extend it?
That's I don't. Yeah, it's such a.
Probably not
it's,
very nice.
I mean,
the car is supposed to be that way,
dude. It's minimal.
I've
really,
heard people
truly.
doing that on the C7 Z06s. They were squaring up everything to get more tire, but it's like
I'm trying to go the other way. I'm trying to get a track
it's
alignment.
built to be high performance.
Yeah.
So
Rick wants his tires like this, so
Yeah.
it's in the corners.
That's
Have
right.
you got Chuck to do that yet? I was
it's-
listening to the
My
video
car's
from
sitting
yesterday.
it's sitting in the shop right now,
Is
so
he
we'll
going to
see.
do it or not? You're still not sure, right? He's not sure.
I don't think he has a choice at this point.
Okay. I heard, yes. All right.
He wants to know if there's a warranty risk by lowering your E-ray with Paragon coils,
Yes.
and what's the risk?
If that causes any problems, GM won't cover it.
But just the The suspension
The suspension, exactly. And
If your struts fail, they're going to say, yeah.
Here's the thing. Say you have an issue with a suspension or somewhere in that area, and say they have to send out a field rep to look at the car, and all of a sudden he goes, oh, what's that? Boom.
Right.
Red flag done. I see, and Chuck and I talked about this. We talked about this a long time ago. I think there was an intake issue on one car, and I have it on my car. I've got the Blue Attack air filter.
Yeah.
So the field rep came out, opened up the intake, and he had the Blue Attack in there. Oh. And the guy says, sorry, we're not going to cover this. You've changed the airflow in the car. The mass flow air sensor works different. The engine's working harder. Just because you change it from the factory specs, the transmission's working harder. So we're not going to cover that. So they can, in that situation, they can do that. So that's why we're real careful in what we advise, what you do, and some folks say, hey, whatever, I'm going to do it. I want to mod my car. Guys love doing that. They'll spend 120 on their car and they'll spend another 50 modding it, and that's fine. Good for them. But little things like that, they can hurt you. But going back to lowering the car. One thing I tell all my clients that have front lift is I prefer that they don't lower the car because it causes issues in communication with the system itself. You'll get all kinds of...
Thanks for not telling me that before I lowered my car.
as soon as you get all that stuff going off and you bring it into the dealership, chances are they won't cover it because you lowered the car, even though they make it accessible for you to lower. But if you lower the car, especially front lift, it causes a lot of confusion with the hydraulics. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. How are things going with your celebrity YouTube call out?
Struggling, really struggling. It's chasing down these people that have much busier schedules than I. I've got a couple of people behind the scenes helping that have communicated. I've had a couple of pretty good sized YouTubers actually reply, wanted to participate. And really my goal was to do this with all the automotive YouTubers, to have fun, to meet the audience, another way to make content from just several different angles, but have a competition in the autocross that is going to be non-evasive. You and I talked about this last April and said, hey, let's do a big track day. And I'm like, well, you and I would like the track day, but then you minimize your audience, and then most of these automotive YouTubers can't drive anyways, and we would...
I wonder if Doug DeMaro's good at driving.
Oh, I bet he sucks.
I'll
tell you, if we do this and he comes out to the autocross, I'll put money on it that I beat him. How about that? Ooh, little bit of third grade reverse psychology might get him that way. Try it. Throw the bait out there. But
I think it's because everybody's just got a crazy schedule. They can't
do.
Make it.
But the folks that have millions of followers, I wanted them to say, I'm on board, because two things would happen. They would say, I'm on board, and they say, okay, we're going to curtail this to your schedule and accommodate the best we can, and then all of us would have to fall in line. Sure. Furthermore, once we got some really big sizable YouTubers and they said we would do it, then other people would say, oh, well, so-and-so's doing it, he's doing it, she's doing it, hey, I want to do it, and then we would have an event. So I haven't quite given up yet. I'm glad you asked about that. I haven't talked about it yet because I've been busy behind the scenes, and it's really just not going the way that I wanted it to. So I'm real close. I'm not a guy that gives up, but I'm pretty close to giving up because I can't do it by myself. And I just know in my heart it would be such a fun, successful event. It would be. I've had TV stations contact me. It would get all kinds of broadcast. Oh yeah. I mean, people are ready to go with this, but we need the participants.
You invited Cletus, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So
I sent him an email.
If he wasn't getting into NASCAR now, have you seen?
Yeah.
If he wasn't getting into NASCAR, I think he might do it.
Sure.
Well, maybe you do it when NASCAR's over. You do it at his place.
Well, that'd be amazing if we could go to his track.
And we were trying to do it at the Corvette Museum. So, again, it had more of a destination, exposed people to all that, all things kind of Corvette. So, tying that in.
We're not going to give up. Maybe it won't happen as soon as you want it, but we'll figure it out.
I was hoping people were equally enthusiastic about it, but, you and I talked about this off air many times.
I have some ideas now that I want to run past you.
Okay.
But I don't think we'll give up, just like Darren said.
Good. I like it.
Yeah, I think we can make it happen. It might not be as big as we want it to be, but I think we can make something
No, it needs to be big.
It'll be big. It'll be big.
We're in Texas. Go big or stay home.
Right.
That's right.
We'll bring the big to Kentucky.
That's right. All right, good. I like that. Good.
All right,
we'll talk.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain how the Costco rebate works with I think it's just Stingray and E-Ray.
Stingray and E-Ray, you've got either the white gold card, that's a $2,750 rebate, or the black card gives you a $3,000 rebate. You have had to have been a member before the program started.
Sure.
So you can't go down there, I'll pay the $110. I'm a member now and I get the rebate. It unfortunately doesn't work like that.
But what if you are just a normal member and you upgrade to the bigger card? No? Okay.
No, yeah. All those had to be in place before the Gold Star, and then the executive member had to be in place before the program. I forget what date it is, just recently, but it goes until April 30th, and it's nice, and it's compatible with GM supplier, GM employee, any discounts that the dealer would give. So it's nice. We haven't seen that stuff. We kind of keep wanting, even though what Darren and I were talking about earlier, a lot of the people coming to Corvette are first-time Corvetters, but I would still like to see some kind of a Corvette loyalty rebate, that you don't necessarily have to trade the car, just prove that I have a car in my possession and get some additional money to move up into a C8 or another C8. I think maybe that's coming soon. A corporate needs to do something. They really do. Don't even get me started talking about those guys because I'm pretty frustrated with them right now.
So that's all good information. Now, does it work where Costco just works directly with GM to give that rebate, or how?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all the behind the scenes stuff that they work.
When I bought my Tahoe a couple years, they were doing the same thing. Obviously, you put your membership number, and I guess they just yes or no.
Yeah, we give the customer the discount at the time, and then we apply for the rebate through General Motors, and the General Motors pays the dealer back within 30 days.
Have you seen one go through yet? You haven't seen one go through yet for the Costco?
Oh yeah,
totally.
Absolutely.
Because I remember there was another promotion a few years ago where it was a car buying service, and the car buy maybe AAA, where you'd get like $2,000 off the price of the car, but you could get a $3,000 off MSRP at the dealer, and then that negated the $2,000. They weren't stackable. So is this like Costco? Like if he buys something for you, like
that's what they call it.
Off the MSRP?
Well, they call it a private. They call it a private offer. So you can't stack two private offers.
Okay.
However, you can, like I said, GM supplier, GM employee. You can utilize those.
Okay.
Nice.
You can't do. And if you had GM credit card, you could use GM credit card and the Costco, because GM credit card is not under that private limited offer. It's a standing program that continues.
So I was going to ask you the same thing, Rick, because different dealers have said different things to me. Your GM reward points.
Yes.
Some say you can use those on your car purchase, and others say you can't. They won't take them.
Well, certainly.
Do they have to take them?
You know why they don't take them? Because they don't know how to redeem them.
You can no difference to
use
them,
that to order parts, pay for your services, put it on a car purchase. Most certainly.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely, easy breezy. Nice. There's a tab for us to go in there and say if it's a GM card or GM rewards, you put your number in there, and then you actually say if you had X amount of money in there, you only want to redeem a portion of that. We put it in that portion, redeem it, get an authorization code. Same thing. Boom, 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 done. Easy.
We got we got a Venmo, Trace Cook, $25, one entry.
Did he give a number?
He did not.
Trace Cook, give us your number, your
guess. just put it on the chat.
Yeah, put it on the chat, the number that you're guessing if you're donating. Number. Thanks, guys, for that.
Now let's get to the super chats, because there's a lot of them and there's questions.
Sorry,
One of them
guys.
is actually a statement. Chab Worth says, "Hey, Rick, can't wait to come back in October to do your track day again."
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Steve Robertson, let's see, that's just numbers.
We're probably going to have another session too, with 6 more slots. I need to firm that up with Correa Paragon. What we will, and I'll announce that on my channel when we're ready to do that. The response was amazing to sell that out in 25 minutes. I was really touched. That was really cool, man.
How many people can do that track day, or that?
It was limited to 18, and then we're going to try to add 6 more slots, so it'll be a total of 24 for the day. And the last time we did it a year ago, October, it was busy. I mean, you can't fit any more into that, and we were running a little bit behind, in fact.
Stephen Rapp.
Yes.
He says, "Hey, Rick."
Hey, what's up, Steve? Yes, I do. Bought a 70th anniversary Z06 and let it sit in the garage. So when he bought the car. Sorry, Steven. You know I had to tell the story. I love you to death. He fought like crazy to get this car. You couldn't get the pearl white. Yeah. He gets the car, finally gets a car, and he had a car prior that he traded. What did you have, like 200 miles on the darn thing or something like that? And so he gets the anniversary Z06, and he says, "Hey, I'm not really using the car. I'm going to trade it." And he bought a nice Silverado from me. And then what we do when we're doing the electronic deals, I need you to take a picture of the odometer so we don't mess up Carfaxes and stuff. So he takes a picture of the odometer and sends it over to me, and I go, no, I need the picture of the odometer that's on the car right now. That's what was on it when I shipped it to you. He goes, "Yeah, I know. It's been sitting in the garage ever since." I said, "Oh my gosh."
How long did he have it for?
I don't know, a year or so, something like that.
And literally no mileage. Right, that's worse than me.
Yeah.
All right. So Mark T. Hi, Rick. Ordering my Grand Sport or 75th anniversary edition from you with the museum delivery, my numbers, and then he gives his numbers. So Mark T is a very good friend of the channel.
Okay.
His channel is YMV, and that was his question or his statement to you.
All right, good. I got to get his contact information.
Yeah.
Always be selling.
I will give you his contact
Good, thank you.
as long
Appreciate
as he
that.
gives me permission, but I'm sure he will.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
All right, let's go down to, I think we have another one from, Joey B gave his numbers.
Another question. There was another question.
Great show. And then Chad Worth says, are y'all going to be at the Bash?
Oh, yeah.
I'm planning on being at the Bash.
Oh, heck yeah. We had a great time last year.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah.
We'll have an even greater time this year.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
We'll plan before.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to bring my 87 4x4 there. That's kind of the goal. Like one thing.
Still have that?
Yeah, I bought it and it's been sitting in a storage shed. I haven't done a darn thing with it, but I plan to.
You did a couple of videos with it.
Yeah, just we're gonna have some fun. If it fits on a trailer for U-Haul, I'm gonna tow it to Bowling Green, and then I haven't measured the width.
So one of the first questions was actually Steve Robertson.
Okay.
He was asking, I don't know if you started to hear this, with the tariff talks and everything, is that going to change constraints, delivery, prices, new, used, or too early to
that's
tell?
a good question. I haven't really followed that closely, but you have to imagine that it will affect us. Any pieces, parts that are being made outside the country, I'm sure that's going to hurt. That's one thing I don't want to have to talk about is another constraint. For
Which I guess today, I think I saw it on the exact story. I think they pushed it back another month. If it's a U.S. manufacturer, like Chevrolet, all the Silverados and whatnot, and Dodge down in Mexico, they're pushing that out. So it's not going to be an issue yet.
Yeah, and I don't know for sure because I haven't really followed it that closely, but I hear that there's a lot of these other manufacturers that are building plants here in the U.S. so they don't have to succumb to that. Yeah.
Okay, Glenn Foster gave a $20. If you give $5 more, you get one entry into this.
I know, Glenn. He's got a rapid blue car. You like these pants, brother? Yeah, man. Look at these pants one more time in case you missed the pants.
Don't let him
No,
get
no,
up there.
no.
He's going to kill him.
No.
Just walk in front of it.
I did that on purpose.
Just walk in front of the camera.
He can't. He's Rick.
Okay, be careful.
Here you go, Glenn.
There you go.
They match our car, baby.
There you go. All right, easy.
So he says, hey, Rick, question. How will you feel when I beat you at your second track event? LOL.
How will I feel?
He won't because you won't beat him.
Well,
I was trying to think of a response to that. I says, yeah, I mean, you would have to beat me in order for me to feel something, but I'm going to feel great because I'm going to smoke you. Sorry, buddy. But have a good time.
Steve Robertson, thank you for the super chat. He says, how do you think the 25% tariff against Canada will impact new and used C8
That's what
prices?
we just talked about.
Oh, okay.
Darren just mentioned
I'm
that.
sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Thanks for joining us.
Well, I thought he had another question up the board, but anyway.
Yeah, let's get as many questions as we can. I got all kinds of stories, and I love talking with you guys, and we'll stay as long as you guys are here watching, so thank you.
We haven't talked about the ZR1 enough.
Sure, thanks. Here's the rally killer. Let's talk about the ZR1.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the main subject, which is 2025 production.
Okay.
And will it be extended? I'm guessing the answer to that is yes.
Well, when was it supposed to end? Or when did they announce it ending?
It was supposed to end the end of May.
The end of May.
26 was supposed to start June 2nd.
Right.
And then I did a video. Was it yesterday? I lost track of the days. It was yesterday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
And only when I got confirmation from a Chevy entity, Corvette Museum, communicating with a customer that their tentative build week of their 2025 was June 16th.
Oh.
Then we haven't, and I wish that we were doing the show tomorrow because tomorrow morning I think we're probably going to get some information from Chevrolet, and I'm going to try and do an update from the airport before I fly back to Ohio. But I anticipate that's going to be the case. And is it because of ZR1? Because I can't really get the thing launched. There's rumor that, and you've talked about it. Is it? I don't think that they'll push it to not be a 25. And even with and I don't know, maybe you guys can say something in the chat, Mark, or the guys can see it, but with them announcing it as the Indy 500 pace car, isn't there some legality that it has to be a production car in order to be the pace car?
Question.
So if there's not a 2025, they may change that at the last minute, and then we'll really know. But I don't know what the legality on that is. There's some contractual thing there.
And don't you think that they could easily just change the pace car to be said it's a 2026.
Sure. No, yeah, exactly. I'm sure they could. I mean, there's CTF 26s out there already right now running around.
Right.
You know, I apologize. I don't know if there's CTF cars per se. I know there's 26 made. I know that they're EX VIN numbers. I've been able to actually dig around and see some of those options and that kind of stuff. So there's some new stuff coming for 26. So I think some people will like it, and I think actually some people won't. So
you think we'll see them at the bash?
Yeah, I think, well, yeah, normally we do.
Right.
I mean, even though I was worried because the 26 ordering and all that was supposed to start before the bash, you know, I thought, well, okay, that's going to be confusing, you know, thank you, Chevy. But yeah, I think at the bash, we're going to see all that stuff, and here's the new feature, because that's usually what they do. Here's what happened last year, and here's what's going on with the new year. And I think, yeah, we'll see some of that stuff, the new colors. That's how I was able to stumble across through some of my contacts about Rapid Blue probably going away. More importantly, Tension Blue, which I love immensely. Interior going away. I've seen a new blue that it's replacing, and it's a it's got
blue.
No, I wouldn't say that. No, it's not like that at all. That would be really cool from the 60s. That would be really cool. It's more of a like a cobalt blue, I would describe it. A little bit more of a purple twinge to it. I'll show you guys off air so you can see what it looks like.
So we'll have two purples? We'll have two blurbles?
But you know what though? It won't go with Hysteria. They'll clash. So yeah, it's more on the blue side where Hysteria is more on the purple side. Right. So yeah.
Okay. Is there a color, Rick, that you would like to see?
I'd probably like to see some kind of a deep silver, like a deeper, a lighter gray, not as dark
as
like
shark gray. Kind
yeah, not quite that deep, like hypersonic and stuff like that. Maybe an in between. You know, I remember the C5. And I love the spiral gray. I mean, that was gorgeous. You know, but I think we're going to see a new silver anyways because we need one. It's just uncustomary not to have that as one of the core colors for the car.
What would be the one color of all the Corvette? What's the color that you would bring back? Be the one that you would be like, man, if I could bring this back, this would be the one.
Oh man, that's tough. That's a tough question.
And I guess for two reasons: either one, your personal one, your personal color, like, man, I love that color, and then two, what would be the most marketable in your opinion? Like, oh, if we brought back this color, people would just eat that up. Be crazy.
Boy, I'd have to think. I'll have to get back to you on that because you know, and actually, probably one of the colors I would say would be competition yellow, and they brought it back, you know, for 25, and you know, and the sales aren't there that I thought they would be for the yellow because on a cloudy day, sunny day, that yellow looks like a yellow. And I remember when I started in the business, the C4s, the competition yellow, I was like, man, it was just a cool looking sports car. Oh gosh, yes, yeah, absolutely.
So Cadillac does some matte finishes.
Yes.
Do you think Corvette should do that?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Yes, I agree.
Okay. I agree. I mean, I think it's a no-brainer, especially the higher end.
And I remember years ago a rumor from a really good contact, but it never came to be when they were building the new paint booth. I was told that they were going to have custom paint colors that you would pay and have custom. Man, that's going to be great. And it's just never happened. But I mean, that could be something too. Rather than them producing and see if it works, maybe bring out the custom paint color.
Like Porsche paint to sample, right? You can choose any color they've ever
pay
had.
$10,000 and get the paint and people to do it. You know, so they make one or two of them, and the way they clean those guns so quickly, they can not interrupt the line.
Right.
I think it would be a good idea if they had the ability to do that. I think that then you would have that broader palette that we want, and they're painting to match rather than painting a bunch just to see if it works. Right. I mean, look at what happened to Cacti. I didn't think it was going to make it.
But it took off after it kind of.
Yeah, it always does as soon as you take it away. But I didn't think they would give up on it in a year. Usually that's a 2-year deal. Yeah. But yeah, they gave up on it in a year.
Yeah,
so.
I just think especially the higher end buyers that are used to ordering a car and doing paint to sample or they want that, right? And we're getting to these prices where you're paying almost $200,000. I want my car to be different.
Yeah, I'm going to break a story for you I haven't done yet. This is a rumor too, so I'm going to break this on your channel. So if GM gets mad, you can siren just something small because we're talking about customization. So you know, if GM gets mad, you can call him and have him take the video down. I'm sick of getting those phone calls.
I won't take the video down. I don't have any loyalty.
Speaking of exotic and customizing, it's just a rumor. Okay. Rumor, cover my butt there, and I think it might be ZR1 only, and I saw a picture of a Ferrari at the Detroit Auto Show, and it had these exotics are really doing this. These guys are wacky in their customization, and it had 2 different seats.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that.
And I'm hearing that might be a possibility.
Well, Lamborghini did that. Remember that one you did with,
So that would
colored seats?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't remember the reason they did that, but.
Yeah, you know, it's
well, actually, the new Ferrari
wasn't
SF90. Is it?
No. The supercar that's coming out. Well, I'm drawing a blank.
The what?
The new supercar Ferrari that hasn't came out.
Oh yeah. The
why am I drawing a blank?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name either.
F80. Yeah, the F80. It has a black seat and a red seat, I believe.
Yeah. So
wasn't it on your channel that you showed a car that mistakenly got shipped from the?
Was that your car?
You're really trying to get them to call me again, aren't you? And I did, you know, and I did that video, and I got it taken down. The car accidentally got shipped with a two-tone seat and a black seat. We did a video, and I wasn't making fun of the plant guys and gals. Yeah. Stuff happens, and really, I said to their credit, you know, if you've been in the plant, which I can't wait for the plant tours to open back up again, you know, they got the plastic over the seat, so the machine grabbed it, you know, and if you're looking in the car, there's almost a glare against that plastic. It is hard to see what color seat it is.
And there's stickers, big stickers.
Yeah, there's crap all over it, but there's still somebody that should have said, "Now, hey, wait a minute, you know, we're not doing that yet," you know. And so I did a video on it. I got in a lot of trouble, had to take it down.
Oh my gosh.
You know, and I told the gentleman at Chevrolet, I said, "Well, you know, there is another car out there like that." And he went, "What do you mean?" I go, "Well," he goes, "Oh yeah." I go, "Maybe you should find that," and that's what we did because incidentally, they said, "Well, you have to claim this through warranty." And I said, "I got news for you. I'm not getting the guy new seat skins." I said, "This is how we're going to handle this." It was really a rough conversation. I told the customer, and he goes, "I don't want new seat skins." Yeah, we're not equipped to do that. Let's just get the other seats. So we got the seats from a dealership, I think, in Louisiana, put them on a pallet, swapped them out, put them in. Bingo, bango. Nice. Easy to do. But anyways, that little tidbit for whatever it is for the ZR1 exotic folks, that may or may not be a big deal to people, but you know, when I get new pieces of information like that, I have to be discretionary on how we talk about it. Still not confirmed yet, but you know, once it does, you go, "Oh yeah, Rick said."
Thank you, Keith French, for the $50 chat. You have that?
Yep, I've got Keith down.
Yep. And then
thanks, guys.
Foster upped it to $5 more so that he gets an intro.
Yeah. Okay. Before the end of the show, we'll reveal the number and then who gets that. Well, thanks.
So, reminder: every $25 super chat, Venmo. Actually, you probably should check your Venmos unless you have.
I think I get notified every time, but I'll check.
Then you'll give me a number between 1 and 2025. As long as it's not been taken, I'll write it down, and then Rick will unveil his choice of number at the end of the show.
All right, so I think we've covered everything. We did talk about the ZR1 in 2026, right? Did we already talk about that?
No, we started to, and we got everyone, and there's really not much to talk about.
Can I throw some more grenades?
Yeah,
please. Incoming. Let's talk about the Grand Sport.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Well, yeah, this is the perfect time.
You're the guy.
I hear
you're the nice guy.
We have
You're the
Rick
Grand Sport
Connie
guy
on the show.
Yeah.
He's the one that says, you know, this thing is coming. And not just you. I mean, Corvette Blogger is 100%.
Well, we're close enough now that people are talking about it.
Yeah, it makes sense. It does make sense.
I got some pictures of some camoed cars. Why are cars out there right now driving around in camo? Because it's future product,
right.
You know, that we haven't seen. The what we think is Zora, but I actually said it's probably going to be called the ZR1E rather than Zora, and I think you did a follow-up video after I did that. But I'm seeing cars in camo where the back coupe is actually camoed, so you can't see the engine.
Sure.
And I could tell you that. No, I can't tell you that either. I got a lot of good information years ago, and they keep moving it around. I mean, and everything has moved around. Nothing has went as we anticipated. We even talked about that last year for ZR1. You know, are they going to do, you know, cut 24 early? Are they going to extend here? You know, it's just because nothing has been consistent. That's what I'm saying. Nothing has been what it was, and it's hard for us to keep up with Chevrolet and then provide our customers with the right information so they can, you know, buy a car now or wait for this or wait for that. But I have seen the new interior coming for 26. I'm told now it's probably going to be a 27 Grand Sport. So, you know, because they're going to reveal probably some things for 26. I anticipate the ZR1E or whatever the heck they're going to call it, you know, would be a 26 model. Because I know that there's EX VINs out there being tested right now. I don't know. I'm anticipating, as I said, that one with the camo on the engine cover. I anticipate that to be probably a Grand Sport, you know, test car.
So let me ask you this. I don't know if you saw my video about Doug DeMero.
No.
Okay, so Doug DeMero talked about.
Oh, I did see that. You said, and I forgot what it was, but go ahead.
He said he, you know, innocently, he said there's going to be this hybrid car that has the ZR1 engine in the back.
Right, talking about the Zora as we've been referring to it. Right.
And then he said, I've been told 1,400 horsepower.
Yeah.
Do you think that's legit?
I thought it was going to be 1350 is where I thought it was going to come in. Yeah.
But why do you think he would say 1,400?
Well, he's obviously got some information.
He's just rounding up. I mean,
Well, no,
He could. I mean,
he doesn't
Street
know,
Speed
does he?
rounded up yesterday when he talked about getting the ZR1. He said 1,100 horsepower.
See, that's
Yeah, no,
what
you
I
don't
think
round up.
Toro did.
Now,
But you don't
I
round
like what
up.
Taj said. Why 1,064? Because
Right.
that's all we could get.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect.
100%.
So
Yes.
speaking of the interior, is there anything you can say on that? Are we going to be wowed by that? Or is it going to be like,
Well, hang on. Before we get to that, let's finish with the Grand
I'm
Sport.
thinking.
okay, sorry.
Then we'll get to the interior. Because I want to know something about the Grand Sport. And I think you can
I guess you
say
have to wait till
this.
Are you
27.
ticklish? Can we tickle it out?
I think you
This
can
is the
say
last
this
time
because
Rick
you've been
Conti will
talking
be
about
here.
it.
Rick will never
let-
join us again. He's out.
Let me ask you this.
No, I'll probably get
You've
fired
been
after that.
saying that you believe the Grand Sport is going to
Oh.
be the most purchased out of all the variants.
I think
What do
it
you
would
mean
be.
by that?
I think that'll be the car people are going. And I think what they're doing right now with the plant shutdowns and they're moving the line to immediately make, we know they're going to make more mid-engines or wide bodies rather, because each station's not set up to do that because the line's slower. So they're changing that now, which is great. So immediately we'll see what we need, more E-Rays, possibly ZR1. And Z06s have already doubled, and we'll probably see a little bit more in Z06s, which is frustrating to me. I don't, like, and I said in one of my videos, I don't want them to just make more Z06s and say, we made a bunch of Z06s. If you're not making the cars that I need that people want to buy, then
Right.
don't make them.
Right.
High wings, carbon fiber ground effects. I mean, they're trying to justify, well, we made a bunch, but you're not making the right car that we need. There's a problem
wanna
with that.
force them down
So I
people's
think what they're
throats.
doing with this line is and again, this is just intuition, no intel. I really think that they're trying to prepare for Grand Sport, that it could be, I think it could be 40 to 50% of the overall Corvette sales. I really do.
Wow.
I really do. And it will fit perfectly between Stingray and E-Ray with more horsepower than the Stingray because it's going to have
the front waterfall. It's going to have the waterfall.
It's going to have something.
Blink if it's going to have a waterfall. It's going to have a
Okay,
waterfall.
that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because the Grand Sport for C7 didn't have a different. It's the
No.
same
No.
exact engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're thinking
It was a wide body.
wide body.
But if you remember back to 2010 and C6, Grand Sport killed the Z06 because Z06 was
sales.
only a manual. You couldn't take the roof off. You couldn't get it in a convertible. So all of a sudden, you got a car that was $25,000, $30,000 less in 2010 that looked like the Z06, available in an automatic. Take your coupe roof off, get it in a convertible. Z06 sales were almost non-existent. That's how much it hurt it. I don't think that it'll impact Z06 sales like that, but I think it will impact them. I really do.
Sure.
Oh, absolutely. For reasons I can't really say, but I really think it will affect them. So I think that's why you're going to see a surgence of Z06s now, and that will be curtailed once the Grand Sport is announced.
The Stingray's 70,000 right now.
Yep.
The E-Ray's 106,000.
Yeah, where
right
did the
now.
10 grand come from? You know,
Oh, I know.
the 59.9, and
Just
we got
like
a couple,
that.
and then just to 4 or 5 years, and there's 10 grand increase.
Yeah.
Where did that come from? What am
know.
I? That's disappointing.
So
because they can.
and then on
Yeah.
top of that, you got increases in all the options too.
Oh yeah,
So
oh yeah.
it's crazy.
Sugar bumps, as we call them.
It's unbelievable how expensive the Stingray is when you walk on lots and you look at the sticker prices.
Sure.
They're all close to 100 grand. It's
Right.
crazy.
And then the customer that's coming to the market right now, there's no immediacy. So now they're dissecting these cars,
Right.
and then they get brain damage because they don't understand why there's a $20,000 disparity between these cars.
Exactly.
And I don't understand why this has this kind of wing and this kind of suspension. And I don't, it's endless,
So-
But it's nice that we have these choices because we have a lot of nice cars that we can build and choose from. And when I'm ordering inventory for our store, I'm trying so hard to have a good choice. It's so hard to predict what somebody's going to, you'll have the right car. That's the right car. You get it right now, but it doesn't have front lift. I'm like, damn it. You're never going to hit it. Not with as many options as we have on this car. You'll never hit it.
So one more thing about the Grand Sport.
Yeah. Please tell.
You think it'll be right smack dab in the middle of those pricing 70
I haven't
106?
And I just sometimes my first thought on pricing is always right on the money, but yeah, I think it is. It probably can be somewhere in the mid to upper 70s. I think.
Really?
To start.
Okay.
Maybe probably no more than 85 would be my guess in the base price. That 79 to 85 grand is kind of what I thought, basing it on nothing but just a Just a guess. Yeah,
I
just a
think
guess.
like 10 to 15,000 over MSRP on the starting price of the Grand
Stingray.
Sport from a Stingray.
Yeah.
Because Stingray is what, 69, and you're thinking like 80, so maybe like 10.
Yeah, and I
10,
think once
12,000.
you equip this out, I think it'll be probably not as high as E-Ray, but you're going to have a car that's going to be in the 110s, 120,
Yeah.
you know, for track packages. And that's the other thing I'd like to see. GM talked about that a while ago, that they were going to do a track-focused car, that package, it would just be a track-packaged car. A nice, affordable price point, get all the essential stuff that you need, but make it a track-packaged car and get people out there really, you know, I'm the guy that, you go back to my first Corvette, I never thought in a million years for any amount of money that I'd be doing in my car what I'm doing now. I wasn't necessarily going to be that pricky Corvette guy, you know, but it took me so long to get it that, you know, I wanted to cherish it and I wanted to take care of it. But when I got my car in 21, for the longest time at our store, I had the only convertible on the lot. You know, and I was showing the car and just seeing how people are excited. I'm giving test drives on the car to sell cars because I had the only car there. There were no used cars. There were no new cars. Everything coming in was sold. And discovering that for me, driving the car and seeing people's reaction, it just gave me a renewed, you know, presence to represent the car. It's just like, you know what? They've already got one Corvette Museum. I'm not going to have another one starting in my driveway. Let's have some fun. And I'm driving it, going to Ron Fellows, going to the NCM Motorsports Park, and learning and getting better and sharing that with people on the channel.
Had you autocrossed a car before that? Had you raced a car before that at all?
Nope. I mean, just in the Chevy training stuff over the years.
Yeah.
But that's it. But
Yeah.
no.
Wow.
You know, the first time I actually autocrossed my car after Ron Fellows, I was a stressful, nervous wreck because I didn't have Ron Fellows. Okay, be in this gear here, brake here,
Yes.
turn here. It's like, where's the guy telling me what to do?
Yes.
And then I get yelled at because I'm not watching the flag tower because it's a black flag and I'm on the track and they're screaming at me to get off the track. And I'm just trying to find my line. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, no wonder it was easier. Nobody's on the track.
Which is actually, you know, this is a really good reminder because I've talked to a lot of people. I think someone just recently about their first Corvette, C8 Corvette. People forget or don't realize that Ron Fellows School is part of your purchase.
Almost certainly.
And
Yeah,
you
I know.
need to take advantage.
A lot of dealers
it.
drop the ball on that, man.
They don't.
Big
People,
time.
and then
Yeah.
the second thing I hear, I'm like, well, I'm never going to track. I'm not a track guy. And I'm like, you gotta go. It doesn't matter if you have no intention to
Yep.
ever be on a track
Right.
ever again.
Just to experience it.
And it's not just the
gotta do
track.
it.
They do the wet
Anti-lock
skid
brakes.
pad, the brakes. They teach you about the car, and it just gives you so much confidence in the car.
I
just
had a
being on
unique
the track.
opportunity to go to Ron Fellows last September, and I did the Z06 class, which you only could do if you're an owner of Z06. So I was very thankful for that. And I was still pretty comfortable in the car, but now I have a renewed confidence in Z06. I could get in a Z06 now and go on track, and I understand the nuances of that car and what to do, what not to do, how to handle it. And by doing those classes like Darren's talking about, you feel so. Number one, you have a great time, but you feel so confident and more comfortable in your car and understand your car. Whether you're ever going to track it or not, go experience that. Drive their cars, and it just opened my eyes up to doing more in my car than taking it to a car show or just driving somewhere. I mean, the autocross thing is great because it's not that tough. You hit a cone. The track stuff, it requires a lot more education and
Concentration.
yeah, it does. You start getting up over 120, 140. Everything changes. You can't be thinking. Everything needs to just come naturally. So I'm very careful in that regard. But I love the adrenaline rush. It's a challenge to me, and I want to do well at it. I'll never be in the advanced class because those guys they're psychos, man. It's fun to watch them, but it's like I don't want to be on the track with them ever. Intermediate. It's good for me, and I'll be at Nashville Super Speedway on March 15th, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and back to Ron Fellows real quick before we move on. People should not be intimidated.
No.
Because they break you up in groups, and there's going to be people there. If you think I can never be on the track, there's going to be 3 other people that have never
the same way.
So don't be intimidated. Just go because
that's a good point.
You'll regret
because if you
it.
wanted to go there and you said, "Hey, this is," because some guys do get stressed driving on track. They really do. I mean, it's a lot of anxiety. But if you wanted to go out there and drive 50 miles an hour, they'll put you in a group with everybody's 50 miles an hour. You're going to pull over. You're going to get lapped, but you're going to be out there. You're going to be doing it, and you'll drive at your pace. They want you to do that at your pace.
No one's going to make fun of you until you get home. Until you get home.
Rick,
oh, no, not at all.
When I went there with these guys, these guys are better drivers on the fast track than me, and I remember they split you up into groups after the first runs.
Yes.
Mark, you go over there with that group over there. And I'm like, what?
Why is it all the way over there in the back?
I'm surprised they didn't tell you to just go sit in the clubhouse, and we'll see you at the end of the day.
He still won autocross and smoked everyone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice job, brother. All right, man. Yeah, baby. That's cool, man.
Slow is fast and fast is slow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, man.
But like you said, when you drive your car, even just around town,
Sure.
knowing what you did on the track, you know what that car is going to do in certain situations where before you just stepping on the gas hard and go, boy, I wonder.
Dude, but here's the problem though. When you start doing tracking, like I said before, I drive every car like a Corvette. I got a Jeep rental car, and I'm just hammering through the Dallas freeways.
You should have seen him trying to keep up. I actually drove my C8 today, and he was like right on my bumper.
Yeah, whatever. Gas pedals on the right, baby.
Real quick, thank you, John Somerville, for the super chat. You need to give us a different number though.
No,
that's
he gave me 888, right?
oh okay.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Okay, cool.
He's good.
I saw
This'll
a
be
big
fun.
number there.
Oh no, he came back and redid it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Derek Taylor, thank you for your super chat. He said, "Keep up the great work, fellows." Hey, Rick.
Thank you.
So.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Rick, you were talking about
appreciate
production numbers. This was Monday's production numbers. And what do you think about that? You had 180 cars made, and only out of the 180, only 86 were Stingrays. So it seems like the Z06s and E-Rays are increasing in percentage.
Well, you're going to see more of that too with the reconfiguration of the line, and it's not that the Stingray I think is a great value for a lot of people that have never experienced it. Especially there's still people. I talked to a guy the other day on the lot that he's got a C5 Corvette and has not had anything else. So there's people still waiting in the wings, need to experience this car, and maybe the wide body car, the E-Ray, the Z06 is too much for them. The Stingray is a great value, but I think GM needs to support the Stingray a little bit more to get those volumes going. It doesn't do them any good to build that car and have them sit on our lots. That's why they used to have, a more stringent allocation system. Now it's just, well, hey, Billy sells us a lot of Silverados, and he needs some of them Corvettes. He says they're really nice, and he sells Silverados for us, and we're going to give him some Corvettes. And 8 months later, they're still sitting there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the allocation system, I think, was designed to be for consumers that were looking for specialty dealers that knew the car, had the car. They would seek those dealers out, not to shun those other dealers that didn't want it. But what you're seeing now is the dealerships that didn't get Corvette and they were upset. They got Corvette, and all of a sudden they don't want Corvette. So you're either in or you're out. I mean, be committed to the customer and to the brand is all I guess I'm saying, and we always have been.
Let's get to some customers,
Right.
some followers.
Questions.
Lots of questions. I'm sorry, guys. I talk
I had a
forever.
good
You
question
knew
while
this
you're
was going to
there.
happen, though.
So, Rick, you're talking about the Corvette brand.
Yes,
Is there going to be a Corvette SUV?
I think so.
But not till like 2030, right?
I don't know when.
Or,
I don't want to. It's so hard for me to bite.
Let's turn the heat up in here.
Yes.
I know I'm sweating to death.
It
Oh my
already is
gosh!
sweating.
Yeah,
No, let's get real hot.
I think there is eventually something coming for the Corvette SUV.
I'll tell you what.
Yes.
Car and
That's all I
driver
want to say about that.
was
And
way
when
off.
it does, it's going to be kick-ass.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm going to get one.
I'm
I
planning
like
on
that.
getting one.
But I don't have a clue if it's coming soon, if it's going to be a C8 generation or what have you. So who knows logistically?
But it will
what
be,
that would,
in your opinion, under the Corvette brand, it'll be a Corvette.
yeah. Even Bob Lutz did an interview years ago, and he was right. Don't do a Corvette SUV if Chevy's watching by chance, and put it on a Blazer platform.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Make it its own thing,
Yes.
but you still got to make it affordable. But it's still got to be true to the brand and
gotta be
have
performance.
styling. It's got to have some performance. I mean, look at the Lamborghini Urus.
Urus, yeah.
I mean, that's a great SUV, man.
The
I
funny
own one of
thing
those.
is, with Porsche years ago when they did the SUV, people were like,
Sure.
huh. And
Right.
then all of a sudden that was their best-selling
It saved their brand.
Yeah.
It saved their brand.
Well, and now we have twin turbos available.
Right.
So
Yeah. And
be
like they
pretty
said
slick.
when they did C8, this is just the beginning.
Right.
And it really, truly is. There's a lot coming. Yeah, man.
yeah.
Joe Lamb says, ask Rick to give a shout out to Tracy and Margaret. Who is Tracy and Margaret?
Tracy is our E-Ray customer who is a lady that loves Corvettes, and she actually loves to drive it and is starting to get into tracking and so
Nice.
forth. So
Great.
I'm excited to help her any way that I can. And Margaret is a great friend and a fan of my channel, and she is freaking awesome. And out of the goodness of her heart comes down from the Chicago area, drives all the way down to Bowling Green and gets extra footage for us and pictures that without that sometimes
that's awesome.
I wouldn't be able to share the content that I do. So we love her dearly. So thank you, Margaret.
Any more questions you guys see that? I mean, there's a lot of questions here.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
I have
load
a good
them up.
question, but I feel like it's like a finisher question.
Well, then let's wait till the end.
Because it could be laughter or tears from it. So.
Uh-oh. Is it your question? Is it your question or something?
Question, yeah.
Oh, it is your question. Okay.
Terry Glock wants to know if you think Corvette will ever be its own brand.
I don't think so. I hear that a lot. I don't think. I think they need that.
It doesn't make
that
sense.
help from General Motors, and it doesn't. Cadillac was going to do the same thing. I think under the umbrella of General Motors, that there's a benefit financially to each of those brands. I don't see them breaking away. Could they? Yeah. To be a Corvette, like a Porsche type of thing. But yeah. I know. And one of the videos I want to do, I won't go into it. I've been wanting to talk about some things I think need to change with General Motors. And one of it is, and I'll expand on it more when I do that video, kind of a drive around thing when I'm talking to the car. But I think that we've risen the car to a new level as far as quality and performance and bringing in this new buyer that we've never had before. So rather than have the embarrassing conversations that all of us YouTubers out there have in the automotive business and guys that sell the car, why don't we have some level of consistency? Why do we have in 1 year that we're making 20,000 cars, then we're making 40, then we're making 50, then we're making 30? How about we act like we're going to make this car desirable and people line up for it. We're going to get our suppliers in line. There's not going to be any constraints. So this is basically the gist of my conversation. Let's make 25,000 cars a year. Get in line and get one. And that way I could say, we're getting this, and you could mathematically say, well, sir, you're 2 years away, you're 1 year away, you're 3 years away for this particular model. You're going to make 25,000 cars a year and be done with it. And they're still going to be profitable, and they're just going to have a better vision from the consumer, rather than it's this great, hard to get Corvette, and then now there's so many, and then everybody's talking bad about the car. It's still a great car, even though there's a ton of cars. But the inconsistencies make the customers feel unsettled. It really is. And then from that point, I think you need to take the dealerships, because we're dealing with customers we never had, and we're dealing with expensive cars, and not even necessarily Corvette. It's not fair to our Silverado and SUV clients, and even the clients that buy a Malibu, for goodness sakes. Let's step up our game as far as our service department, knowledge, and actual servicing of a customer. And how about our customer lounges, so they're actually somewhere you want to lounge around in and hang out? I mean, let's step up our game here. This is about retention. Give people a reason to come back. Give them a good experience. That's just things in my gut that I
Rick,
share.
that might be the answer to this question. What has been Chevy's biggest mistake in the C8 era? Sounds like that may be
production inconsistency. Production inconsistency, but let's go back to, let's just say, forget the production inconsistency. These constraints are a pain in the rear, man. These constraints are just ridiculous. I understand it. They've made the exception the rule. In my opinion, you should not be in this position right now. And Tatch probably said it best last April when he was talking about, we're with these small mom and pop things. Well, that's because they're contracts are trying to make money and save money. And yes, you've got, Bill and Ma that can't build enough high wings. Well, then you probably shouldn't make that contract. You've hurt us overall in the retail sector because of somebody, and I know the Corvette team had to fight with corporate to make the mid-engine car, to present it to be a mid-engine car. But, let's do it, and let's do it right, man. So let's get these suppliers on board that can make the product, make a good quality product, and make it in the volumes that we need. I don't understand why that's a problem. The constraints are a real sore subject for me, and I'm to the point now, I'm 30 years in, there's no reason for me to bite my lip anymore. If I do, then I look like I'm part of the problem rather than the solution. So it's like, I think it sucks, and I'm not happy about it, and there's not a darn thing I can do about it.
Your honesty.
I appreciate that.
So question for you, Rick.
Yeah.
What has been kind of the intel that you're gathering on the new ZR1? I mean, you haven't put a lot of orders in, but you're taking a lot of calls from people that may be putting orders in. Convertible versus coupe. Just in my small circle, it seems like people are leaning towards the coupe big time.
Toward the coupe, and I won't say and I'm able to scan unsold orders, and I know that there's a dealer that will remain nameless out of respect to that dealer that ordered some stock ZR1s, an abundance of them in the first cycle that I was able to see before everything went back to the 2000 status, and it's still kind of stuck in limbo. Yeah. They ordered 15 convertibles and one coupe.
What?
And I'm like, who's sleeping at the wheel on this deal? I think the coupe with the split window in that engine you need to see. as much as I love the convertible, but
Sure.
if I got a Z06, I probably still would get convertible because now they got the engine appearance package. But you've got to see that intake. It's just it's dynamic. But yeah, for ZR1, we talked about that again briefly. We don't know what's going on with those orders. I mean, they're stuck there, and all I'm getting is that we're working on it. We should have been working on it before you gave us allocation and released the orders and then pulled them back. I mean, it's just, again, you're setting that uneasiness with the consumer, the dealers, and the people buying the car. And I don't think you're going to have the rush to the gate for ZR1 like you did for Z06. They're both expensive cars. I mean, I got Z06s coming in that are $190, but ZR1 rather, low to mid 200,000s. That's a whole different ball game, and I don't think there's a ton of people out there want to spend $250,000-$300,000 for a ZR1. You'll have a lot of people, but I don't think you're going to have the abundance of people. So I think you're going to see that market be very different and turn very quickly because of that factor, but a lot's going to be predicated if we can even get the car built. I think the car's going to be very, very limited. I've talked about this on my channel too many times. I don't know who it was. It doesn't even worth naming because the guy's an idiot. He posted this article and said the GM's going to build as many ZR1s as you want, and he took out of context what Chevy said. They said we're going to build as many as we can. Yeah. So it's a play on words, and when I get Chevy memos, I read them several times and dissect them, trying to say, all right, really, what are you telling me here? What are you not telling me here? Because you can't take it. You can't take it at face value.
It's another reason someone should go to the Corvette Museum and do the factory tour. They'll see the engines being made versus the production engines on the other car. I mean, there's a lot more involved.
Yeah, the engine build program I've been wanting to talk about. I'm going to play
that's coming back, right?
I don't know if it is.
Is it?
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it will. At one point
they said it was.
Well, and I don't think they will because there's such tight tolerances on that Z06. They can't afford any mistakes in that.
If you had a warranty, she'd be like, "Well, you did it."
Yeah, you get your checkbook out. But I actually had the documented last customer to do a build on the C7 Z06. I'm going to re-air that video, and it was the perfect guy. He's just this nutty, wacky, knowledgeable engineering type guy that he was in the plant with Kai Spandy. In fact, Kai took a liking to him, and they were walking around, and Kai gets a phone call because they're walking off the path that they're not supposed to be. And he says, What are you doing? Who's that with you? Where are you? Get out. It's like, and then Don's like, he goes, I felt bad. Kai got to get yelled at, so there's people watching on those cameras.
Oh, yeah. And he's not the plant manager anymore, so there you go.
Well, no, that has nothing to do with it. He's
just kidding.
You better stop it. He's a freaking great guy. But there's another plant story for the people watching in Detroit one time. I remember when you go through the plant tour and you'd watch the cars go and get the dyno done. Well, this was a story told to me that these two guys were in the dyno, a couple of buddies at work. Hey, Mike, okay, we're going to go to the dyno. And they're racing in the dyno, so the cars are way up where they were supposed to be, and all of a sudden they got a phone call from Detroit. I think they each lost a week's pay, two almost lost their job, could have lost their pension, and they both used the excuse, the accelerator stuck. Yeah, sure did. Yeah, sure did. Yeah, right. So it's kind of funny. So even grown men will be kids at times. I mean, when you're around this car, how the hell could you not?
So real quick, going back to the ZR1.
Yeah.
I think it was on your channel where you talked about that GM was blown away at how many people wanted the big wing.
Yeah,
how is that even a thing? Why would they be blown away?
Yeah, that's the only car you're showing out there. Yeah. I mean, that's the car that when you look at it, you want to be able to decipher. Oh, hey, that's the freaking ZR1. Just like Z06s right now, you could put 100 people together, and I'll guarantee you 98 of them, if they looked at a Z06 with a high wing, that's a Z07. That's the first thing they say, and not necessarily. Right. You've got a car that's not a Z07, but he's got a high wing. So people don't know that. So yeah, it's bizarre what they did by pulling those orders back. And I teased, it's like, oh, I know they're going to be mad, but now they're really mad. Oh, we should do something. Well, no, you should have done. It's. I don't understand it, and I guess it's that not knowing what's going on. It makes us have these type of conversations and throw shots and make fun or whatever. But if they would be a little more transparent with us, right, I think things would just be a little bit smoother. And I think people would understand, like, oh, okay, well, so that's the deal. All right, no problem. But however, launching that car with a constraint, carbon fiber wheels, yeah, maybe you can get around that. And that's, again, a supplier issue. They don't have ready to go. But how do you launch a car like that with no high wings? Are you kidding me? I mean, I put my hands in the air. I didn't want to take another ZR1 call. I was like, I'm done with this
I guess
car.
For us, Rick, a lot of the general public, we assume, and it's a wrong assumption apparently, that you're obviously a top 10 dealer, that GM's reaching out to you and your management, being like, hey, what are you guys hearing? What's the word on the street? And it sounds like that just doesn't happen, which is crazy.
No. And I wish they would do that sometimes with their bigger dealers, say, hey, what's the customer saying? Come back to the ground level and remember where, this all happens. As I said in one of my videos, nothing happens until a car's sold, and I have a pretty, I've been real fortunate because I'm so passionate about this car that, I have in my mind, and I've, like I said earlier, I've been right in a lot of my predictions, but I have a pretty good feel on the pulse of the marketplace of what people want, what they need, what the issues are. And if somebody came down from Chevrolet and said, hey, let's have a conversation, I could have a conversation because I live and breathe this car every single day. And let's fix these problems and let's make the car better. Let's give more confidence back into the brand, back into our dealerships, back into the product. And let's...
So speaking of making the car better, Texas Clay on here wanted to know why the C706 had slotted rotors and the C806 doesn't.
That's a technical question I can't answer. Okay. I think the guys on the team did answer that at one point.
Yeah, the thing that I heard was they figured out that they didn't need it slotted.
Right.
That it didn't really change the braking that much.
Did they change the alloy and what they're using on the rotors? I'm not sure if there was something to do with that. Or maybe there's the aerodynamics that are getting into their rotors. But I mean, believe me, if they needed it, they would have put it on there. So I give the team on Corvette credit for what they provided us off the shelf as just really, truly a great value and a remarkable car. I'm running aftermarket, though, on my car right now.
You lose a little bit of surface by doing that.
Right.
But they do it to all the carbon ceramic brakes. They drill them.
If they made carbon ceramics for the Stingray, I would have bought them.
Oh
yeah, dude.
Those things are amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just can't put them on, as we did in one of our videos. You can't just put them on a car. There's sensors and then the way that the brake caliper fits. Yeah, it's more complicated than that. Yeah.
Well,
I'm having fun, man. You got more questions?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's go, dude.
I've got my finisher question.
Well, somebody asked, do you know if they're going to start back up the plant tours? Are they doing the plant tours for the Bash?
I don't know. That would be a great time to bring them back.
I will. Yeah,
I think they are.
But good point. If you're going to the Bash, you want to do the tour. When those come out, you better sign up quick because they will sell out.
Well, they should be back just a standard order, anyways. And I feel bad for all the people doing museum deliveries. They're coming from afar and not getting that component. Which they say, oh, well, you got a standing ticket and you can come back anytime. It's like, okay, yeah, when you're in the area from California, come back and do the plant tour. It's for people that don't really understand the complexity of how to put a car together. It's overwhelming, and it's just amazing how they orchestrate everything in this car.
Right.
And then when you get in your car, you just look around and go, wow, that was really something. I mean, I think it makes you appreciate this car even more.
Right.
And understanding parts constraints, understanding production constraints, because the plant's down 2 weeks this month. The week of the 17th and the week of the 24th for March. Right. So maybe they're get done what they need to get done and they can open it up for the Bash or something.
They closed it down because of all the changeover and all of the stuff coming. There's still a lot of stuff coming.
They could be working on stuff for C9. We don't even know it, dude.
I was going to say,
don't even know it.
There's probably a good reason why you can't do a plant tour right now because they probably got Zoras and Grand Sports and whatever in there.
What car? The Zora?
Or
I heard it's called the ZR1E.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Somebody said they really don't like the E part. They really think it's going to scare away buyers.
100% it will. 100% it will. And I like the E rate, but the more I think about it, the E, it ties to electric.
And they said electrified.
And electrified. It should have been called a performance hybrid.
Yes.
And then that way people would understand what it is. And it's unfortunate. It was a catchy name. It was a fun name. We teased what it was going to be. Didn't know it really was going to be called E-Ray. But it's E-Ray. But again, you can go back, like the same analogy, ask, 100 people the E-Ray. And a lot of people, probably 70, 80% don't know what that car is and don't know where you plug it in because you don't. I walked out. I did one of my videos. I was walking around with an extension cord, teasing where I plug in the car. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you don't plug it in. But that's what people think, and that's Chevy's marketing, with the E, and they're big into the electric. Yeah. Didn't they?
When are they going to use it?
Yeah, didn't they trademark that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, they should have used that instead of E-Ray.
And I think they trademarked Zora too.
They did.
Right. So who knows?
Who knows?
What they're doing with that, right?
Who knows?
So one thing
I don't mean not to look at you guys. I'm looking at the guys who we're talking. So thank you for watching.
So Rick, I know the National Corvette Museum is like your second home. You do a lot of deliveries.
Oh yeah, man.
In fact, you recently showed you got an award. You were one of the top.
Yeah, we were
guys
number
to
3
deliver.
dealer in the country.
How many was that?
That I don't know. I apologize. I don't know that. I don't know that number, but they've never done that before. I guess they acknowledged. I think the top 10 dealers got letters, but I think the top 3 or 5 got plaques. Nice. It was just a nice surprise, and I guess that's their way again to build relationships with the dealers to continue to promote that entity of Corvette sales. And I think it is all about the experience with this car. So I think that's something wonderful, especially the clients I deal with, whether they're around the corner from me or they're 2,000 miles away. Especially those out-of-state folks, that's perfect for them to do the museum delivery.
Sure,
that may be the only time they ever go there
right.
to get their car. So I think that's a great opportunity.
Well, and what I was going to say, it's a reminder for everyone to go to the museum that has it, because people don't realize it's in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yes.
It's in less than an hour from Nashville.
Right.
So if you're ever in Nashville, a lot of people are there for business. There's a lot of conventions there because it's growing so much.
Right.
You got a rental car, book your trip, or you got an extra half a day, you can be there in about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
If you're in Nashville, think Corvette Museum because it's not far.
Yeah. I like that you support all that stuff. You talked about Ron Fellows support all that stuff, and that's all the stuff that's a bonus as a Corvette enthusiast. So I appreciate you mentioning that, Darren. That's great. That's spot on, man.
All right, well, it's been an hour and a half.
It's been an hour and a half?
It's been an hour and a half. I told you it went by fast. What did I tell you?
And you didn't get to all the questions either, did you?
We have
ticked off they're going to be?
We have to finish your question. We still got to do. But
I felt bad. I wanted to actually answer all the questions.
Well, some of the comments that are coming in is, let me see, Rick is blowing up the internet. This has been the best Octane Hour in a long time.
I appreciate
Darren,
that, guys.
Mike are blowing it up with Rick. And we're very lucky to have Rick do what he does and the hours of stuff he puts out on the internet.
Thank
I have
you.
to say myself, out of all the YouTube channels, other interests that we all have, it just seems like Rick and Mike are always at the top, and I'm always clicking, watching what the next videos are.
No, I appreciate
and
that.
we're lucky to
Thanks.
have you do this. And I don't mean to
Thank
say
you.
that because you're
Well,
here.
and I'm honored just to have the opportunity. The collaboration thing, I think, is another way for each of us to learn from each other, market ourselves. And I always thought that I could at least bring another perspective to what you always talk about by throwing in that dealer perspective, but also too because I do have such a deep passion for this car that I don't just flippantly say something that we need or want. I mean, just there's a thought process on it because I grew up loving this car, and now a career that I never thought that I would have. I take it very serious. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun and thinking about the magnitude for me to be involved at this car, at this level, changing people's lives, watching people cry at delivery. Man, I cried at my delivery.
So
dude, that's impactful, when's the last time you cried when you picked up your pickup truck? Okay? So I'm telling you, this car's something special, man, and I get it, and I love it, and I want to be a part of each and every one I can.
God has blessed me so much to grow up loving this car as well.
Sweet.
From the time I was 6 years old.
That's awesome. What was the first? Do you remember your first Corvette when you were 6 years old?
Yeah.
What was it?
It was a C4.
C4?
Yeah.
Remember the color? What was the color?
I don't remember the color. All I know is
he's just like, look at that big old car, right?
Were on top of it, telling me, "Look at this car. Look at this car," because I'm the youngest.
Right.
And so they were good at knowing the difference between a regular C4 and a ZR1 as well.
Right.
So yeah,
that's
that was
where you learned it. There you go.
Yeah, and I grew up right next to Motor City. So I always drove through Sterling Heights, Michigan, where all the plants are.
Did you ever go to the Woodward Dream Cruise and stuff like that? You did? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a classic.
So,
do you remember how to tell the ZR1 and a C4 from the ass end?
Yeah, the square headlights.
No,
tail light, the third brake light.
No, the brake light up top.
That, and then the spacers and the license plate. There's actual where the reverse
I
lights
didn't
are. There's extra spacers in for the wider body. You can actually look at that back there. Yeah, because a lot of guys have the C4. It's like, oh, I'm on eBay and I bought me a ZR1 badge for $3. I'm going to put it on my car. Everybody did. When you look at the ass end of the car, if there wasn't that black spacer beyond the license plate where the reverse lights are, then it wasn't the wide body. It wasn't the ZR1.
So to get to the point where now, the last 7 years, next month will be 7 years that I've been on YouTube.
Oh, wow, cool.
And I owned a C5 Z06 back when I was 25 years old.
How many vets have you had? I did not know that.
The E-Ray's my 6th.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So to own 6 vets, to do nothing but talk about vets all the time and drive a E-Ray and I've had 3 Z06s and just everything out there that I get to do is just a blessing.
So what's the next car? Because once you're into it, as I'm discovering, there's always got to be another car. So what's the next car?
The ZR1 is on the schedule, but I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Right. So good luck.
Exactly.
See, you tried to slip that in.
It's a mess right now, brother.
It is a mess.
Car is
Okay, so if
Can
you did get a
me one?
ZR1, if you did get one, what color would you get? Do you have that picked out?
You know, I do.
Anyone that comes available.
No, well,
No, you
there
got
shouldn't
you got to be
really
able to pick your color on that car.
There's not going to be a
Yeah.
constraint on what I did. So I have two different builds.
Okay.
And the reason why I have two different builds is because I thought there was probably going to be a constraint. And if I was lucky enough to get an early allocation, which I didn't get,
Right.
I told my dealer, I said, this is the build for my early allocation. But if there's a constraint on the ZTK, then this is what I want.
Okay.
So let's just say I got the ZTK. It was going to be a black ZTK
Whoa.
with, now there's a reason it was going to be black.
Habanero interior?
No,
What?
sky coal gray interior.
Oh, okay.
Because BOS 3.0 was going to be done.
Okay, gotcha. All right. No,
So-
makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you still get the carbon flash instead of the black? Or
No.
is that
No,
the
no, that's
flash
gone. No, that's gone.
Good.
So, but I also had a contingent second build, and that was also going to be black, but I
Okay.
wasn't going to do BOS 3.0 on that. I was going to have a little fun with what GM offers.
Okay.
So I was going to do blue stripes
Oh, yeah.
and the black interior with the blue
Stitching.
stitching and the blue,
Blue
seat
seatbelts.
belts.
Yeah.
Now,
Nice.
I wasn't going to do the blue wheels because I get sweet wheels from,
Forged
light wheels.
Right.
designers.
So I was going to have him design me something cool for it. But anyway,
Oh, that's a good spec.
that's what I was hoping to do. But as of right now, who knows what's
Yeah.
going to happen with the ZR1.
You got a great car. I'm in the same spot. I'm bummed Rapid Blue's going away. Yeah, I want either E-Ray. Would love to have Z06, but I really want to be the guy that pulls a trailer with my Corvette because I think it's more impactful. I want everybody. I'm all about the marketing and get people talking.
They
It's like
couldn't do that because of the exhaust.
yeah,
is
because
that
it's
right?
the center exhaust.
The
I can't do it
center
on the
exhaust.
Z06. Right.
You can't put that.
Yeah, the bracket's right
Why don't you
there.
just
Can't
convert?
make
You
it
should
shut
convert
off.
to the European Z06 exhaust, isn't it?
Well, yeah, there you go.
Do a
yeah.
gooseneck.
Yeah.
I do a fifth wheel.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
Hilarious.
this has been so much fun, you guys.
so
Thanks
last-
for everybody
last
who's been
question,
watching so
last
long. I
question.
appreciate that.
We got to.
Well, go ahead. Show the
winner.
number. Show the. Wait. Well, will that Rick answer the
You know
question?
who
Is there any more customers, for
Well,
viewers
just
rather
one
that
more
are
time,
last
one more
questions? I
time.
felt bad that we didn't get to everybody.
We'll give you this one question, then we'll.
Okay.
Well, let's
Go ahead,
So
sir.
one more time.
Is this your closing question?
Yes.
Okay.
Save the best for last.
Okay.
So, for anyone that super chats or Venmos $25 or $25 increments, so it'll be $25, $50, $75, $100. That'll get you an entry to win this exclusive Rick Conti C7 wrapped
Camo diecast
car,
Oh, yeah. Veteran.
which he'll sign it. Mike will sign it. Mark and I will not sign it.
Silly.
And you just give us a number between 1 and 2025. He's already written down the number, and whoever's closest is going to win it.
Okay.
Okay, so don't give the number yet. We'll
Okay.
wait.
All right.
People come in. So here's my question, and I know this is going to be a hard one for you to answer, and you kind of jumped around a little bit because we've all seen your videos of your deliveries of the cars, and there's some pretty remarkable stories. Is there any particular story that really, in your mind, where you're like, man, that's the one that just every time I think of, I go back to it, where for whatever reason, something super special about that story, or is there any one super special story
You know,
you
that
share?
question sucks.
He's got
Because
You're
you know
gonna
what?
single somebody out
No,
back.
exactly right. I
I'm
don't
sure
want to
there's some
single
really sad
anybody.
stories because I know you've talked
There-
about
there
cars
is-
that you're
there is some
unable to
sad
deliver
stories.
because people passed away before their cars have came. And,
Yeah, I've had that. Actually, I was written up in a couple of national magazines over that. But I mean, just and really, truly, whether they're deliveries that I share on the channel or not, they really are all special. I don't want to discard any of them, but I guess the ones that kind of pull at your heartstrings is, well, like I had a guy in California that knew the C8 was coming out, and he had bought several cars for me. And he called me in tears one day, and I said, John, what's wrong? He says, Rick, he goes, God's got other plans for me, brother. He goes, I'm not going to be able to get that new Corvette. He goes, God, I really want one. And he died 2 weeks later. So that broke my heart. Family called me and everything. But, you know, I had a recent delivery last year, and the guy just going through the Z06 constraints and what have you, he knew that he had less than a year to live. And it did a museum delivery. We were able to get his car built. And when we were there at the delivery, I knew this was his last car. His brother was there. We talked about it. I had many situations like this, and it just tears me up. But it was a fun, jovial day. But we got ready to leave, And he thanked me for being there and sharing in the moment with him. And he just said, this is just the most important car purchase of my life. And he goes, I really just don't know how much longer I have, Rick. He goes, I'm going to drive this thing every day. I'm going to enjoy the daylights out of it. And he passed away 6 months later.
Well, hopefully he did put some miles on it.
Yeah. And, you get other people that tell the stories of how they, sold this, sold that to take care of their family. And then, waiting 20, 30, 40 years later, you see less of those stories, but then you really see in their eyes the passion and how important, and that's what's so significant to me is seeing how important this car is to people. That's that emotional connection that I've always understood, that I've always felt, that I get. But each and every story, I don't care what it is. If they've had one Corvette, they've had 10. Each one is just really unique for me. And the more I think about the magnitude that I'm involved in these purchases and I'm making decisions, and many of those conversations, I've had influence on them not getting this option, but getting this option. And they say, hey, thanks, I didn't even think about that. And hey, you were right. That looks fantastic. I'm not around these cars as much as you, Rick, but I really trust your judgment. And when they trust me with their money to build their car, man, I take that so serious. And I really, really want to do a good job for these people, and seeing their creations that, together we're building, and seeing they're excited. Yeah, it makes it all satisfying. So I don't see me quitting this anytime soon. I really don't. But to single out one man,
okay,
man,
I figured that was going to be your answer.
Yeah, that is a tough one, dude.
Okay, so let's share the number.
Yep. And here's the number. Thanks for everybody for sending in the monies and stuff like that, and supporting Mike, supporting myself, and joining us here today. The number, and don't ask me why, I just picked the number that you wouldn't expect. I know you guys are all going to, Rick got his first car in 2021, or maybe he got it in 2023, he's got a 23, or he's got a 70th anniversary. So I know there was some logic. There was no logic to this number, so that's what makes it fun. The number was 612.
You got zippities, right?
How do we do? It's too late now.
1064.
Hold on.
No, he came in before
612.
that.
No, I got it. There's two people that are close. I got to do the math here.
Okay.
All right.
612 was the number. Guys.
Okay, so John Somerville was 276 away. And then we've got Chad, 612.
This is kind of fun. Used an elementary contest for you guys. We discussed this for a couple of minutes, how we were going to do this
Chad
tonight.
was
but
291 away, so John Somerville is the winner.
John Somerville. All right. Congratulations, man.
John.
You got
He's a fellow Texan, so we'll hand deliver that to him.
And you'll get to meet him at the Invasion.
Oh, fantastic.
He comes to the Invasion every year.
All right. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate that. Congratulations.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Rick.
Thanks. You guys have been awesome.
Seriously, man.
This has been a lot of fun, man.
It's been a great couple of years.
You guys have been so gracious to me and supportive of me, and allow me the platform on your channel to talk and tell stories. That means a lot. Thank you for that.
Seriously, you used to just be a fellow YouTuber. Now you're a great friend.
Thanks, brother.
Seriously,
you too, man. Yeah, thanks, dude. Really appreciate that very much.
Now throw away the lock and key. Keep him in this room till next week. He's with us.
Guys, give us a big thumbs up. We do this every other Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's called Octane Hour. Subscribe to Mr. Rick.
Thanks, bro.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Give him a follow on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Any other?
Just Rick Corvette Conte. Yeah, that's where you can find me. Yeah,
and
man.
you better buy your car from him too. He's the one to buy it from.
Yeah, threaten him. That'll work really good. Nice job.
Get on his ZR1 and Grand Sport list. He's taking names.
I don't have a ZR1 list.
At the end of the
Here's
show,
my ZR1 list.
Yeah, we're gonna edit. We're gonna put his cell number right here. It'll be right here.
So we will see you guys in a couple of weeks. You guys have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you.